that, getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Hello and welcome to American Muscle Series Season 10, Round 9. My name's Josh Wilkie, filling in for J.R. Gregory, and beside me today is Charles Bochelle. I'll also be pushing all the buttons and the knobs today for you guys. We have a pretty awesome heat race coming in. 2 heats around Summit Point in the Mustang FR500. Should be a pretty good one, I think. This many cars out there today around Summit Point is going to be a pretty interesting challenge here for sure. Getting a qualifying lap done now here. We're just joining, I believe, Taylor Bellant in our shot here. And Charles, I think today's going to be a lot about decision making again, as usual, and just kind of battling this track. I'm not sure where they're going to get passes done around here. Probably maybe T1. That's about it.
Get to T1, otherwise you're going to be trying to late break getting down into T1, but just the rest of the course here with these cars is going to be very, very tricky. Pretty narrow course, lots of quick cornering that's going to have to be made. Obviously turn 3 is going to be very critical to having a good lap. You do not want to be off in the kitty litter there. And it's a nice change pace tonight, Josh, because normally Ron is the one who pushes my buttons during the course of the broadcast. So it's a pretty nice change pace.
Yeah, absolutely doing double duty here for sure today. I think actually we just kind of missed our intro music there. I do apologize for that. I don't think it actually came through, unfortunately. But as we said there, just following Taylor Ballant around now. He's got a 120.1 so far. Neil Kemp behind him with a 120.3. Bit of a spread there so far. But again, as I said, running up into the show here, it's not easy necessarily to actually just get this lap done around Summit Point. I have lots of experience around here. I'm sure lots of these drivers do as well around here, but actually just executing that lap perfectly isn't easy, and doing it over and over and over again, as we're going to do tonight, actually, even in 20 minutes, you're going to get around here quite a few times. So I think it's going to be pretty difficult here watching I believe this is David Fernandez just exiting the final corner there. Probably one of the most important corners on the entire track, I would say. This is where most of your passing is going to get done. This is where we're going to see a lot of 2 wide, maybe even 3 wide. Barely get 3 of these wide around here, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the most wise decision. As you can see, some of these corners narrow up quite a bit, so you might could go 3 wide into 1, but I don't think you're coming out of turn 1 3 wide. And then this is definitely, it basically looks like a two-lane road here as you're coming down into turn 3. So you see this car is going to take just almost all the track from inside to out to try and carry any speed through there. And then you get this little late run down here from 4 into 5. It's just very, very difficult. It's going to be another one of those braking zones where somebody might can sneak to the inside and try and make a move, but you got to be pretty precise on that brake pedal in order to get that done. As we see here, working through the S's here from 6 through 9. Almost another critical corner here is turn 9 coming out of that S's section. The good run down the back straight coming into the final corner. Just one of those you want to just get everything right through here. Carry as much speed as you can, but you want to make sure you get a really good exit to come out of here, because you've got the long front straight down to the start finish line, which we may see a couple of cars side by side as we cross that for the final time. But you want to get that good run down so you can have a nice run down into turn 1. And just look at the lap times. I mean, we're talking about we've got how many cars? 18 cars within the second of pole. Lots of different, even all 3 classes represented there. So not just the pros, but the challengers and the AMs as well. And that just goes to show qualifying is going to be critical here tonight, as you want to get as high a starting position as possible, because it's going to be hard to work your way through the wash there to make up any positions to move forward. You're going to have to rely a lot more on people's mistakes than on your own skill to get these passes made in a timely manner.
Yeah, absolutely around here for sure. There's going to be some mistakes out there for today. Just watching actually Freddie Weaver there going full almost opposite lock coming out of the corner. Just while you were speaking there as well, watching the times roll in quickly, went from the 120s into the 119s fairly quickly there, and then watching the Challenger class go from Matt Thompson to Brian Kennedy to Jeff Anders within about 10 seconds there. Went from Matt Thompson dropped from leader in Challenger there back to 3rd. So definitely coming in hot and heavy at the moment here. We should probably actually I'll cover some points here for us, Charles, and we'll see kind of where everybody is stacked up at the moment. It is actually pretty tight, I believe, in Pro right now. I'll have a look at this one first here. Pro points, I believe, only about 7-point spread between Pro here, and we are in round 9, so we're getting pretty close to the end of the season, and it's very close there, actually, even between the top 3 or 4. So Kevin Parrish leading us, Jeffrey Schnackle, then Taylor Ballant, Matt Malone, Jay Bass is going to be 5th, Ron Wolf in 6th, Fabian Zweier in 7th, 9th, Neil Kemp 10th, David Finch in 10th, and then David Fernandez in 10th. And we'll let you look at the rest of those there as we move on over to our Challenger class. That as well is only about a 9-point spread over here. Matt Thompson leading with 261, 252 for Mark Cohn behind that. Charles Hosea, then Levi Powell in 4th, Freddie Weaver 5th, Ed Sanchinelli in 6th, Matt Gazinda in 7th, Daniel Gabaldon in 8th, Brandon Smith in 9th, and Brian Kennedy going to round out the top 10 in Challenger. And then we move on over to our AM category here, where it's a little bit wider, a little bit of a bigger point spread going on over here, but still in some in striking distance here of some things befall some other drivers. I don't believe actually Joe Cicchetti is with us tonight, or at least I didn't see him earlier. Maybe he has jumped in the session. You know, I don't think I'm seeing him in here, so that could be a bit of an upset there, depending. Andy Bell might be able to take some pretty important points tonight. Scott Brooks behind him, Colin E. Olson, Andrew Kosick, Tom Webb, Merle Ekman, and then we have Jeff Bernard in 9th, John Casey, and Brandon Carl's going to bring up 10th place in Pro. So still some stuff to play for out there, Charles, in at least the first two. And then with Joe Cicchetti actually not making it today, I mean, who knows, in AM as well, we might actually have an upset there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking as you were, I was kind of reading down our order here as we're qualifying. You know, Kevin Parrish, who's leading the Pro Championship, not here. Matt Malone in 4th, not here. But you've got the rest of the guys, Ballant, Schnackle, Jay Bast are all here and up at the top of the board. So doing what you've got to get done. So, yeah, it's, you know, a lot of these championships when we're in these leagues like this is just you've got to be consistent. You've got to be present for all these races. There may be some drop rounds involved, but you've got to be here scoring points every week. That's how you win championships. It's not just getting wins here and there. It's being consistent and consistently strong in the finishing order.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. You have to finish every race. You know, you got to buy a ticket to the end of the season there to actually finish it off and get it done. So, you know, seeing some drivers there showing up every race and some maybe just not able to as well. Or we've had some incidents and some accidents and stuff like that as well. Actually, you know, the last few rounds, Miami, some big pileups, and then some of the cleanest racing I've ever seen at Bathurst. But I believe we are about to get our start here for Heat 1 around Summit Point, and I'll get that grid up for you. You can start her up for us here, Charles.
Absolutely. On pole position tonight, Taylor Ballant, Jeff Schnackle. Outside of row 1, third is Neil Kemp. Jay Bass is in P4. P5 is Jeff Andrus as the head of our Challenger class. Fabian Zweyer is in 6th. David Moore in 7th. Brian Kennedy in 8th. Matt Thompson in 9th. Chuck Labano 10th. David Finch in 11th. And David Fernandez starts on P12.
And then in P13, we have Ed Sancinelli, Frito Sport Racing Team, one of the admins here at AMS. Charlie Hosey, 14th. Andy Bell, our first AM driver, in 15th. 16th, Andrew Bailing. Levi Powell in 17th. 18th, Brandon Smith. Freddie Weaver in 19th. 20th, Matthew Gazinda. 21st, Michael Brennan. Jeff Bernard in 22nd. In 23rd, Aaron Bray. And Mike Nickham in 24th. And I think we're almost there. Look, about 32 drivers tonight.
Yeah, Scott Brooks in 25th, John Casey 26th, Merle Eschman in 27th, 28th is David Blair, Tom Went in 29th, good old TW3, Brandon Carl in 30th, Colin Olson 31st, and Andy Kosick rounds out your 32-car grid tonight.
Absolutely, and I'm glad we got through that one. You know, I never really know how much time in these heat races they've left us to get through those as I speed through it here, trying to work the buttons and the knobs at the same time. But I think, you know, having 2 heat races is going to give you a chance here to get to get another one done. And if you have a bad race or a bad start here, so you would hope that would kind of pull just a little bit of the pressure off you for this first race. You know, you can kind of just try to make it into T1, make it around this first lap, see where it kind of shakes out, be in a good position for the second one, and see how it goes. You got Jeff Schnackle pointed directly at Taylor Ballant at the moment here. So there is our start, and he's Taylor Ballant's going to get a good one. Jeff Schnackle behind him as well with a very good start there. I believe that might be Brennan in the background as well, popping out there into T1. Everybody looking pretty copacetic so far here, but this is going to be very telling. You know, as we know, the AMS guys so very clean out there almost every race all season here has been really, really impressive. And it looks like they're going to do it again there, although we do have a bit of grass clipping happening from Schnackle, ruining that good start, Charles.
Yeah, he pointed in. He wanted to try and slip in behind the leader there at the start of the race. Could not make it work, and then got into turn 1 and just kind of went wide. He couldn't get the car rotated around the corner as we see another car off in the dirt there. That is David Finch. Coming back onto the track, nice rejoin there. So Schnackle dropping a couple positions back down to P5. So Ballant leading with Kemp, Zweyer, Bass, Schnackle, your top 5. And we're continuing. Andrus, Thompson, and Kennedy in the Challenger class now nose to tail, 7th through 9th. So those guys are going to be fighting here for the next 19 minutes or so as we're rounding up lap 1. But a good start, baby. I'm looking down. Brandon Smith, the only car that I see that didn't have, well, Finch and Smith both dropped multiple, double digits as far as positions. I guess Brandon got off in the back as well, and he's cruising around. No, I'll take that back. He is not. He's actually not in the server. So it looks like he was sitting in the pits, but maybe he did not. He did not take the start of the race. Definitely not sure if he's still in here or not. But good battles getting set up here. You see Schnackle there coming through turn one. Jay Bass a little loose there coming out of the corner, rotating the rear of that car on the throttle. 225 car, Eschman off to the side, gets it rejoined. No contact as far as I can tell. So nice job by everybody to do the avoidance there.
Yeah, some pretty good avoidance there for sure. And we've seen a lot of that, good driving and avoidance skills out of these guys for sure throughout the whole season here. This place definitely going to be a lot of that today. A lot of avoidance, a lot of looking in your rear view mirror, making sure that you have that space cleared and that you're getting these apexes right, especially through this section. We're seeing Labano here just behind him, Fernandez and Hosey having a bit of a battle here as well, side by side for most of this section here. Now, not exactly the fastest way to get through there. They're going to finally kind of shuffle themselves out there. I believe that was Chuck Labano and Brian Kennedy going side by side there for a moment. You can see some of our gains and losses here in the first lap or two, quite a bit all over the place actually. A lot of gains and a few losses there as well. David Finch losing out on 13. That's one of the cars we saw off track there right away in the rhubarb a bit, doing a little bit of lawn clipping. Andrew Bailing here going to look up the inside. I believe that is Charlie Hosey.
Yeah, moving to the inside there, looking down. This is the chief passing opportunity here is deep into the braking zone at turn one. You see neither one really giving that up. They both went way deep into the braking zone there, but they got kind of caught up behind the 09 car and haven't really been able to make any movement forward with Fernandez basically playing rear guard there. And they finally it might be the bump and run comes into play here before this is all said and done. These guys are going to get very impatient very quickly as we see them working their way into 5. And that is Chuck Labano working his way through, hanging onto that spot as we see the traffic starting to work its way through ever so slowly. And you still see 2 wide, 2 deep coming through turn 8. And then out into 9, through 7. And now we see the 180 car with a little crossover, trying to get the run on the outside. I think he's going to, he's regretting that as he's off in the grass. And he's going to lose 2 or 3 more positions there, just trying to get the car rejoined. And we'll continue on working forward as we're on board here with Levi Powell as we see Hosey off there into the gravel. That's the one downside of trying to carry the speed through that final corner is if you run it wide, you're going to end up losing about a second of time just trying to get yourself extricated from the gravel trap.
Yeah, absolutely. Just moving back up to the front here. Jeff Schnackle now attacking David Moore. Looks like he's going to get that one done on his charge back up to the front here after that not so great start there for sure. He was able to go off the track just a little bit there. Really hounding Jay Bass now from behind here. This is one of those places on track here we're just kind of coming through now, Schnackle and Bass, that you feel like you can kind of set up a pass leading into that sort of descending corner, but it's never really a good idea to try to get it all woed up down there. It usually just leaves you kind of open to cars behind you. It's better to kind of stay line astern here, see if you can't get a little bit of an advantage coming out of that last corner, even this section here, but got to be one of the more difficult sort of technical sections really on any race course. I don't think we give Summit Point enough credit sometimes for just how difficult getting that whole complex right. It really starts about 4 or 5, maybe 6 corners in a row there as Jay Bass going to take some serious liberties on track exit there, unfortunately losing out major on that one.
Yeah, absolutely did. And that was, again, just carrying too much speed through the final quarter. He obviously had some very fast race cars behind him looking to pounce and tried to just take too much to keep that position and end up losing it more quickly than he actually thought he was going to. So he'll drop down to P7. That's going to move Schnackle up to 4th, more up to 5th, more in that lovely Evel Knievel livery. I love seeing that car. It's such a throwback. It's very iconic. As we're on board, there we go. There's that we'll see what happens if you're going to take the jump here at the end of the race and try and make that car fly. But otherwise, we'll keep watching here. Yeah, let's do it after the race as we're on board here, and he's keeping tabs on Snackle. He's not really doesn't look like he's really pushing to make a pass. It looks like he's just trying to hang on to him as Snackle gets that car wound out. You see Jay Bass now back around Andrus to take over P6 again. That puts Andrus even with Matt Thompson there. That is the battle for the Challengers class lead, P7 and P8 overall. So these guys look like they're going to be attached at the hip for the next 15 minutes or so. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Matt, obviously very, very talented Mustang racer. I think I've seen some photos of him racing that car in real life. So that always helps. It always helps when you get some real life experience to help your sim racing career.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. It's awesome to be able to cross over the two there, practice some stuff at home, and then bring the real vehicle out to the track. Something, unfortunately, I just don't really know too much about, not being able to get too much IRL experience. But I do believe, that he does actually have a pretty nice Mustang there and get some track days on it as well. We were just up front there with Taylor Ballant. Neil Kemp definitely kind of hovering around behind him now, getting a little bit closer, so he's not running away with it this time at all. He's going to keep him honest here for sure. I think Neil Kemp probably just kind of biding his time for the time being here. Fabian Zweyer just behind them. And then, of course, Jeff Schnackle, we just saw get around David Moore, now trying to make his way back up to the front. Schnackle really been on some form lately, able to really put some laps down. And, not that he wasn't quick in previous seasons, but has really been able to put it down here in the last little while.
Yeah, it really had. They had a good run going last week at Road America. Just unfortunately, incident during the mid part of the race just took him out of contention. But it was him and Zweyer, Ballant as well, I believe, up there. Chuck Nabano had a great run last week as well. So we'll keep an eye on him as we are getting some little bit of argy-bargy there with Levi Powell and others. I think that was Aaron Bray that was in that area as well. Obviously, you're starting to see the pressure mount on some of these drivers that are in the mid-pack, looking to find their way through, and once again starting to lose a little bit of patience there as they're trying to fight forward and trying to keep track of the cars in front. And so far, that's been the only real incident that I've seen. As we see Matthew Gazinda in the pit, so I'm not really sure what that's from, and that is a tow. So he has towed himself back to the pits. So we'll have to see if we can find a replay. Josh, when you get a free minute, I'll continue to chat while you're doing that. As we're still
like I do
on
have
board.
A report here. I'll have a look. I
Okay.
think I found it now. Let's see if we can't figure out what that was. So that might actually just be this contact right here. May have done some steering damage to Gazinda's ride there. Unfortunately, actually, I did notice just out of the corner of my eye him pull to the inside. I'm going to imagine that's going to be right or left hand down inside the cockpit there, and he's just going to limp her back to the pit or even park and just get it towed. Wow, bummer.
Yeah, tough break for Gazinda there. Obviously was a nice battle there, I believe, once again, I think Aaron Bray was involved in that, Levi Powell as well. So Powell also has fallen back, has came into the pits and taken his fast repair. So he obviously got some more damage than that didn't look like the biggest hit in the world, but obviously it was hard enough to cause damage to both cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes just right on the axle, right on the steering rack's just gonna wreck your steering, and maybe he just decided that's a little too much for him, or he'll wait for heat too, of course, because we do have another heat here, but some heat actually happening here as well in the Challenger class. Jeff Anders has caught up and is right on the back of Matt Thompson now. See him take a little bit of a look there earlier, not quite committing to it yet, but it looks like he's actually he's looking for it for sure. Jay Bass just behind him. You got to kind of keep it line astern through this section here. You can kind of maybe force your competitor into a mistake, is what I've always tried to do. Get as close as you can to him. Just kind of see if you can make them have a bad exit or miss an apex, and then maybe you can squeeze through and make a pass through there, but not a place you're really going to commit to a dive or make any sort of a standard passing maneuver, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. And it is actually Thompson did take that position over for Andrus. So as Andrus trying to fight back after Thompson got through, and you just want to get up there close and give him the old mind punt and see if you can force a mistake by the car in front. much easier way to pass that way when your opponent is off the track, as opposed to trying to force your way up the inside there. So, in through 9 would be the only place you would want to even try to attempt that. And then it's not the greatest proposition in the world. That inside curb will deal you some fits time and again. As we're looking back here, a little further back in the field, we've got the Michael Brennan in that nice Australia-themed number 38 Ford Mustang, just behind John Casey, who's worked his way up to P20. John actually is stationary at P26, so hasn't lost any, but it hasn't gained any either. As we're working our way back through, Andy Cossack up 7 positions, so having a good run. I think Andy actually either didn't set a qualifying time or just missed qualifying, was in late, but has started working his way up the field a little bit there. As we move up to Andrew Bailing, who is now looking ahead at Chuck Labano there, running in 10th. Labano sitting there in P9 with just behind Jay Bass, so we've got a nice little group here of pro cars, kind of split off from the rest of the field by the challengers of Thompson and Andrus, and they're obviously looking to see if they can work their way up, maybe get up to the front of them, because all points count. So we want to make sure that we get the highest finishing position that we possibly can. And since this is a heat race and this is the second week I've done broadcast, have no idea if these are a points race or a setup for the feature. So we'll wait and see how that all shakes out, and maybe we can update as we go.
Yeah, I believe we're getting points in the feature today, and we're going to rack them up then. But we can always check with that at the end. Of course, us both having to fill in for the usual commentators on the series kind of late in the season is not the most ideal place to be here for sure. But we are doing our best here for sure, and we'll keep you up to date with as much as we possibly can here over the rest of the season. But Taylor LeBlanc and Neil Kemp here still kind of just ding-dong back and forth up at the front. Only about a 3/10 gap between the two of them. They are kind of marching away from Fabian Zweyer a little bit. Looks like Jeff Schnackle may be making a little bit of headway into Zweyer, but as we know, there's not a whole lot of time in these heat races, only 20 minutes to our usual either 40 or 60 with a pit stop. So you got to kind of get it done. It is a bit of a sprint race out there on this tiny little track, and that can be a bit of a disastrous combo with some leagues and some car combos, but they're doing a really good job out there today for sure. I've been around here many times with whether it be SRFs or FFs, and a lot more attrition in those races that I can remember, especially through that first complex of corners there. Coming into this section right here, actually out into that kitty litter area, you are going to find many cars up in there. I think actually we just did an FF race not long ago and saw a few cars up into there as well, and then coming down into here as well. Not an easy place to get the car wound up, but everybody doing a great job out there today. Matt Thompson now has really separated himself from Jeff Anders here out front in the AM, so we'll have to have a look at exactly what happened to Anders and why he is so far behind here. I'll see if I can't bring that to you shortly.
Yeah, no problem. We'll let you see if you can hunt that down, and we'll keep an eye out as Thompson now has a significant lead in the Challenger class, running at P6 with Jay Bast and Andrew Bailing and Chuck Labano behind him. We'll note that David Fernandez in the pits with the meatball flag. So David has had an incident somewhere on the track during the course of this as well. As you see Matt Thompson there taking every bit of that outside apex or outside, running area on the curbs, on the runoff outside the curbs, everything you can do to keep the car moving forward as quickly as we can. As we're looking at board here with Andy Bell, looking to the inside, he's going to tuck it back in behind Ed Santinelli, and behind David Finch and Aaron Bray. And Aaron and I may have to have words. That as an Alabama fan, the Auburn War Eagle paint job just is terrible. So for those who don't know, that's our arch enemy. So we do. I don't care if we ever see Aaron Bray again, to be honest, if you just want to look at it that way. But we'll keep an eye out for him.
Those sports teams,
so sports stuff. So Aaron doing a great job. They're running in 14, so he's moved up 9 positions. So having a great run tonight. So whether the paint slowing him down or not, it remains to be seen. So we're going to get a look here. I think this is the pass Thompson coming around, and that is his move around the 104 car of Jeff Andrews. So that's the pass for position. And we're going to get more shenanigans here as we're keeping on board. I didn't see anything, so back.
Oh, there we are. Oh,
there
boy.
it is. Wow.
Okay, that was a shoulder and a half right there from Jeff
That
Andrews.
was indeed. That was
exactly
indeed, and that was Chuck Labano, I believe, that was the car that that received that shoulder. And so Baling moves through, and Labano gets through, but then Andrus is still falling behind. So I'm not sure if he maybe just gave that position up and just said, you know what, guys, that was not smart. Let me just go ahead and give that one back. As we see Kennedy moving around David Finch. The 111 car is going to move up a position, and that's going to put him in P13. Finch is going to stay there in 14th as they work their way out of turn 5 into the S's section here of 6 and 7. See these cars.
I believe that was actually Weaver. Actually, that was Weaver on Kennedy that time, so that was for 12. No, that's okay. Hey, we're doing our best here with the paint jobs. That I recognize Weaver, and I can recognize most of these guys out here being in the booth most of the time there. But again, watching Freddie Weaver go completely opposite walk as he exits that corner there. I'm not sure he's going to hold on to this one much longer, Charles there. But yeah, I mean, up front, I'm not exactly sure what that shoulder was all about there with Labano, but it looks like it has kind of stopped now. And it does look like maybe, I thought maybe there's an incident with Jeff Andrews, but it does look like he was just kind of slipping backwards due to some pace there perhaps. And then not exactly sure what happened between the two. I'm sure there's a little more to that story than we caught on film there. We'll leave that to the stewards, but Matt Thompson leading our challenger now. Andy Bell back there in 16th, I believe, is our AM leader with not really a whole lot of competition around him. And then Taylor Ballant and Neil Kemp out front, and looks like Taylor Ballant's actually put a bit of a gap on Neil Kemp right now. So not a whole lot of really close battling happening at the moment.
No, really not, as we're under 2 minutes left, so I think we'll be white flag next time by, and we'll be able to finish off this heat race. And we'll see if Kemp is able to close the gap. Looks like he is attempting to, maybe brought a couple of tenths out. Wow, people starting to take more chances. You see a lot of cars running there through the gravel there at turn 3. And that is the battle there we were looking at earlier with Brennan and Blair. Brennan on the outside, Blair on the inside. Brennan gets the pass made, so very nicely done. And we still have 2 wide behind. They get that sorted out. They're going to end up losing lots and lots of time there. That's Andy Cossack and John Casey, 2 guys who know each other and have raced each other a little bit. So they'll keep that one clean. As you see them working 2 wide, still through the S's, 2 wide, all the way around, just all the way down to the back stretch before it was like Casey's going to get that position for the time being. As Ballant still out front, 1 second gap, so he has managed to hang on to that position and hang on to that small lead, but able to keep it steady there as we have Snackle now moving up to P3. So he's taking over that spot from Zwayer as David Moore in chase as well. So we're going to have a nice 3-car battle here for that final podium position before this race is all said and done. I think 1 and 2, unless something weird happens, are pretty set in stone here, as I believe we'll be taking the checkered flag when we come back by.
Yep. Yeah, I think we will, and you're right. I think it's pretty much settled here. This last rip down to the line can kind of settle some battles every once in a while, but not from that far back. I don't think. We might have a bit of a battle here on our hands between for the 3rd place position, 4th and 5th there as well. But Taylor Ballant going to pretty much march off into the sunset with this one. Neil Kemp just behind him. And then, of course, we have back here Schnackle, Dave Moore, and Fabian Zwayer, who looks like he's actually backing out a little bit here as well. So, yeah, not a bad first one. Nice and clean for almost everybody out there. We got Matt Thompson as well bringing home our challenger victory here. Jay Bast, Andrew Baling just behind him. And then you have to go back to Jeff Anders here for the P2 position in AM, and then Andy Bell, in challenger. And then, of course, Andy Bell in AM here as well, getting a few more people just across the line here. Mike Nick can bring it across the line in 18th. Brandon Carl going to bring it home in 19th, just behind him, Jeff Bernard. So not a bad one, Charles. That was pretty clean. I think these are some pretty big cars to drive around here. It's not easy to get passes done. And this might be just the perfect week for it here because you got some pretty clean driving from pretty much everybody all the time around here.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a little more attrition, but only 4 cars or 3 cars that were put out of the race during the course of the race tonight. So, really good driving, and yeah, some good battles on track, but everybody very respectful. A lot of clean racing. I only saw a couple of little questionable things overall. Everything nice and clean. So we're going to have a 5-minute warm up period as we roll in here and we switch over into our warm up, and then we'll have our feature race here in about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll have us another last little 20-minute heat race and wrap things up for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Got about a 5-minute warm up here. Now, this is a perfect time for us to get to some of our sponsors here. We got a couple ads from our sponsor D-Nut Stuff here, as well as the Chiba Hut. So let's get to a couple ads here from our sponsor D-Nut Stuff. Mike Nickham down there, awesome enough here to sponsor our season and has some pretty awesome products for you guys to check out here. So we'll roll that commercial here and we'll get right back with you in a few minutes.
Does your feet hurt after a session of sim racing? Are you tired of the distraction from sore heels? If so, D-Nut Stuff has the solution for you. Our heel pads add support and comfort for your feet, so those long races are no longer painful. We can make a heel pad for pretty much any pedal set and even add your custom logo. So get one today. You won't regret it. Is the brake on your new pedal set not meeting your expectations? If so, let D-Nut Stuff transform your braking experience. D-Nut Stuff has brake mods for Thrustmaster TLCMs, Husingveld Sprints, Mosa SRPs, Fanatec CSL Elite V1 and V2s, SimJack Pros, and UT sets. We are always working on adding new pedal sets and more, so check back often.
Well, all right, there it is. So that's our sponsor D-Nut Stuff as well. We also have to definitely thank Chiba Hut as well for sponsoring this season. Been a pretty awesome sponsor to have. You can see their logo on basically every car in the field. So I would imagine that we've had a few drivers take advantage of the Chiba Hut in the last little while. I was saying to Charles last week, and I wish there was one of those around here because it looks like a pretty awesome sandwich shop for sure. And they have a lot of fun with their name and some of their branding and commercials and stuff as well. So definitely check those out. Pretty awesome stuff. And we got to thank Mike Nickham and the Chiba Hut for sure as well, and D-Nut Stuff out there as well. But a few minutes here left in our warm-up session. I'd be out there probably trying to find a bit of a better line if I could, not having to worry about pit stops or anything tonight. So yeah, a couple minutes to just relax, take a bit of a washroom break or something if you need, and then get back in the car for heat 2.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I would be doing as well, is just trying to just get a few more laps in and just find some good, comfortable pace in the car. You know what it's going to be like when you get back out on the track. It's going to be navigating the traffic is going to be, the thing to do. So I might look for some alternate lines through some corners. Just kind of maybe working on maybe taking the outside line through turn 1, just making sure I can hang on to the car. Things like that. Obviously, at this point, not a lot you can really kind of work on to improve, but you never can tell when you might find how to slip off the throttle a little bit quicker and maybe pick up a tenth here and there. So that's always a benefit. So, and I will say that I did look up Chiba Hut before the broadcast tonight, and the closest one to me is 140 miles away in Atlanta. So I don't think I'll be visiting Chiba Hut. Although if I'm ever over there again, I'll be looking them up and just trying it out, because I always like to find new places to eat. And then the D-Nut Stuff, yeah, that heel pad looks like a purchase that pays for itself over time. If you're used to wearing socks in your sim rig and you're wearing the heels bare in your socks from the metal plate, that's probably a really good investment, and they're not expensive at all. They're just pretty cheap. So yeah, that's another purchase I'll have to put in my wish lists. We'll say it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard we were even just talking in the during the commercial there that it's a pretty cool product for sure. That we've seen so many people takers on that one, and yeah, it's a pretty cool one for sure. And the brake mod as well. There, if you're using a certain brands of brakes there that don't necessarily have the feel and the touch and that kind of secondary stage and stuff that helps so much with braking. He can help you out there at DNUT stuff as well. I should mention, and we will by the end of it here as well, that he's actually got some AI tools that he's going to be letting the community use and for sale and everything soon too. So hopefully we can get to those. A little bit tasked today with so many things to do in the booth here, but we'll get to that as well. Mike Nickham was telling me about that yesterday, and we'll see if we can't run a little bit of that as well. But here is the grid, Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Ballant will start on pole again. Neil Kemp on outside in row in P2. Jeff Schnackle starting in third. David Moore in fourth. Fabian Zweier starting in fifth. Matt Thompson in sixth. Jay Baston seventh. Andrew Bailey in eighth. Chuck Labano ninth. Jeff Anders starts in P10. Charlie Hosey starting in 11th. And Freddie Weaver starting in P12.
Yeah, and then in P13 here, if I can find my button, P13, Brian Kennedy. P14, we have David Finch. In P15, we have Aaron Bray. Our first AM driver, Vandy Bell. P16, 17th, Ed Ancinelli. Ed Ancinelli. Nope, Ed Sancinelli. In 18th, we have Mike Nickham from DNUT Stuff. Brandon Carl. Oh, and we're going to get our start.
We're off. Yeah, and slow start there by the car on the outside. That was...
I believe that was Taylor Ballant.
Taylor Ballant, yeah, our pole sitter just didn't get off the line. And so nice run there by Neil Kemp on the outside to take over P1. Schnackle up to second. Zweier up to third. David Moore in fourth. Jay Bassett, Taylor Ballant still comes back out in sixth after they get out of turn one. As we already have a couple movers and shakers in the middle of the field. But no drama so far as we're about coming down into through 4 and into 5.
Yeah, pretty clean start here so far. Really, really bad getaway there for a couple of the drivers right off the rip, but you got a little bit of time to figure it out here. Again, a sprint. You really want to get that one done for sure as quickly as you can. Trying to find which way to go. Looks like Brian Kennedy back there was just back and forth for a second. Car wallowing all over the place. Neil Kemp still holding us out front there. Jeff Schnackle getting a much, much better start than his last race around here, or the first heat race, sorry. So it looks like he's going to be in much better position to do something about it this time. Taylor Ballant definitely back there, though, with a bit of a deficit to make up. Andrew Bailing just behind him, and then our first challenger sitter here of Matt Thompson in 8th place. So pretty clean first lap, though, so far. I'm not really seeing anybody off track or any accidents quite yet. Maybe one, but I think he's still with us. So things looking pretty clean.
Yeah, so far pretty clean. We did not have Levi Powell start the race, so he will not be. We've got 31 cars on the track. Andy Kosick has dropped down to P31, down 5 spots. We'll start Merle Eschman down 6, but those are the two biggest droppers so far. Obviously, Taylor Ballant down 5 as we're going to get a replay here, and you're going to see the start of this race. And as you hear the engines revving, and just spun the tires, lit the rears up,
wow,
and absolutely could not get off the line. And just you see him falling back just as 5 cars just went around him there from lighting the rears up. So it pays to practice your starts if you're running clutches. Oh, there's a little contact there as 2 cars are off. That's Tom Went, and I believe who's that?
Scott Brooks.
Scott
really Brooks and Tom Went, I believe.
Scott Brooks. Yeah. There we go. All right, so Scott Brooks, Tom Went, falling a little further down, or having a little bit of an issue there. I think Scott Brooks was just maybe struggling with the braking there and made a little bit of contact, but I think both cars are okay. No meatballs, so they should be able to continue the race as we got a little bit of look here up front. Schnackle looking to the outside, thinking he might want to take it around the outside of turn 1. Not sure that's going to work, and just not enough room out there. And once you get on that curve, it's very hard to get the car rotated, so he's going to slide back into P2. Kemp did a good job of defensive driving there, keeping it on the inside, and then kind of pushed his way out a little bit through the mid-corner to keep Schnackle from getting a good run as they work their way through 3 into 4 Still battle there. Snackle still looks like he's racy and he wants to make that move. He just hasn't found the spot yet. So we have Brandon Smith in the back with a black flag. Not really sure what that's for. So maybe a jump start at the beginning of the race. That's my first my first inclination is to guess that, but we'll see as we go. He will have to serve the black flag though, so that's going to be come into the pits and get that served within 3 laps, and that's going to go by very quickly. He's not going to have a lot of time to figure out when's going to be the best time to do it. He's got to come in as we work our way around the final corner here with our lead group, and Snackle just not able to get quite a good enough run out of that final corner to make something happen coming down into turn 1. So he's going to be looking again, as we do see Brandon Smith coming in. Snackle looking again to the outside. You see Kemp floating his way to the middle of the track, keeping that, and now Snackle going to look for the crossover. He's going to look, just can't make it happen. You see him lose the rear a little bit as he got back on throttle. So he's going to have to settle for P2 again, as we see the 119 car there, Freddie Weaver off in the grass.
Yeah, I believe that was Jeff Anders, a bit of shoulders there for Freddie Weaver. Really easy place to do that around here as well. Actually, get up to the outside of somebody, and it's just not really a good place to be in many of the corners here. It's easy to kind of wash wide and push somebody off the track. But yeah, up front here, Neil Kemp actually holding it together pretty darn good. It looks like Snackle, though, definitely wanting the win this time. He wants to get out there. I think he wants to prove something, especially after that last race. It looks, however, as well, that Taylor Ballant not able to move forward quite as quickly as maybe he would want to be moving forward, I don't think, either here. He's having a bit of trouble kind of clearing the cars in front of him. Gonna have a look to the outside here. That's definitely going to be a bit of an intimidation move, I believe, just on Neil Kemp. Maybe try to set up that undercut a little bit. He is going to have a good run. Jeff Snackle is here down this front straight. This could be an opportunity for him to look for a pass here. Kemp not going to give him that inside, though. Going to cover it off. Not an easy one to get done on the outside. Last of the late breakers into T1. He's going to keep looking for it. Neil Kemp holding that inside. Fabian Dwyer just behind them, getting a front row seat here. This next complex is not a place you want to go too wide, so I would imagine they're going to sort it out through here, and Snackle is going to take that place. Not quite. Neil Kemp giving it back and looking up the inside, Charles. That was a bit of a, he bumped him, didn't he? That was definitely some contact.
Yep, it was definitely contact there. As you saw, Snackle had a great run out of turn 1 and was able to hang on to the car and keep his speed in it, and was a drag race up to 3. It was on the inside, which is not necessarily where you want to be going in through 3, and just had enough to where he thought he was clear and was, but then maybe a little early on the brakes to try and get the car set, but just you can see the contact between the 2 cars. I would say maybe racing incident. I don't think that was an intentional move, but it obviously has kept Kemp in the lead for the time being, and so Snackle's lost about 7/10, so he's going to have to come back and bring that car back up into Kemp. He should be able to make up a little bit here coming out down the straightaway, and pick up a little bit through the draft. He's got to get over there and get behind him if he's going to get the draft, though. So he's going to have to move to the inside. And you see Kemp trying to break that as best he can, and it did a pretty good job of it, because it only picked up about a 0.5 coming down into turn 1.
Yeah, again, it's just every lap around here. It's always the same. You kind of try to figure it out before you get down to T1, and then kind of line astern until then, unless something happens, and then all again down into T1 again, over and over again. And you got pretty much the whole lap to just think about it. How am I going to get up to the back of that driver? How am I going to get a little closer, a better exit on that final corner? And then, of course, just not making any mistakes through these sections here. As you can see, these big Mustangs just wallowing around on braking, and those front brake rotors glowing in the kind of evening air here for sure. David Moore not doing too bad again in 4th place. This is another driver, Charles, from previous seasons. I know you weren't around for here, that he's always had some pace, but maybe not quite this much pace, maybe not quite top 5 pace, and he's showing himself week in and week out here that he's able to be in the top 5, actually holding off Taylor Ballant here for the time being here, making his run up to the front a lot more difficult than maybe he was hoping it would be.
Yeah, and I think that's just the byproduct of just running laps in a car, right? Is just getting comfortable in it. It allows you to get back up to your pace a lot quicker. And then you start finding things here and there. You find a tenth here and a half a tenth there, and the next thing you know, you've kind of moved yourself up in the competition with cars that you would normally be racing. You just find yourself just a little bit quicker than they were. So it's just a natural progression from being comfortable in a car, knowing how the car feels, knowing how it behaves, and allows you to just start picking up extra time the more you run it. As we see here, you'll see that these cars are now pretty aggressively taking a little bit of that gravel trap just as the course of running, and it just goes to show that even in these short 20-minute races where you're only going to run about 35 laps or something tonight, is you're just gonna naturally just find the edge a little bit easier, and it makes it much easier to work through these corners without subjecting yourself to too many off track, too many incident points, maybe getting a drive through somewhere down the line, and you could just find those little extra inches here and there.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That's exactly how you do it. You just kind of chip away a little bit here and there. I've done it over the years with watching videos and watching my competitors and so on, try to find some time. That actually brings us pretty good into that AI conversation we were having a little bit earlier there. Our friend Mike Nickham there down at D Nut Stuff has actually taken it upon himself to kind of fix and make up some custom AI for the iRacing service here. I'm going to put his tag here just below. You'll find this as well in our chat. You're not going to be able to use it too much from here, but I'll put it in our chat as well, and you can click on that link that'll be in our chat here, and you'll be able to go and look for some custom AIs. We look Jeff Schnackle taking the lead of the race here from Neil Kemp into a pretty difficult section. I believe I was talking about earlier. You got to have some cojones to throw it up the outside or the inside into there. Clearly has his faculties around him here, Jeff Schnackle does, in that car to get it woed down. Neil Kemp kind of facilitating that pass as well. If you fight it too hard there, as we know, Charles, you're going to end up in the grass for sure. If you try to put a pass up somewhere or through that section and the guy decides not to let you do it, you're both going to crash. So Jay Baston as well, or sorry, Neil Kemp as well. Not say allowing that to happen, but you just kind of have to make it happen, right? You just have to sort of let it happen around you when someone's making that move so aggressively.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to come through turn 4 and you're going to be as far left as you can. And then the natural thing is to move to the right to open up the corner. And so you're thinking, well, if I stay left, I can make the run down in and make the dive. But then you're assuming that the car in front of you is going to move to the right. And when he doesn't, you're both in trouble because you're not going to be able to get the car stopped in time. So nice job by Schnackle, staying patient, getting back up to the back of Kemp, and then finding the place to make the pass. So now it's just going to be, all right, now can he play defense? Now that he's in the lead, he's going to say, how can I keep this car of Kemp behind me? And as you see there, where he just moves to the right and then comes across, and then you see the cars behind there making a move. That's Zweyer and Belant. And that's Belant trying to get back up into the podium positions from the start that he had. And so he's now moved up to P3. He's worked his way around Zweyer. So he's back up into P3. He'll start looking forward to see if he can start tracking down Kemp and then see what he can do from there. And that's going to help Schnackle out, because the closer as the Belant gets to the back of Kemp, the more Kemp's going to be looking behind him instead of in front of him. And that's going to allow Schnackle to maybe get a couple of tenths out and give himself a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like he's trying to get that breathing room out here up front. I'm going to find that pass again, too, as soon as I can. We'll see if we can't get an onboard or two of just what that looks like coming down that descending corner to make a pass there, maybe even from the passee's point of view stuff as well. It really is a bit of a clencher when you're coming through there and oh no, he's actually going to try it. And you kind of have to sort of, you really have to know someone's passing you there to have it work out for sure. So again, just showing, the AMS drivers here, just how good they are at driving, how much racecraft they do have. There are drivers out there that would just throw a block up right there and it would be the end of both the races, not knowing that you can't really block a pass when somebody's committed that much. And he is actually looking up the inside. Wow, again, very, very aggressive passes and some awesome racing here from the two of them up front here. We'll get lots of replays of these passes coming up shortly. Oh, Schnackle! Massive tank slapper, and he's going to save it. Wow.
Yeah, that's a nice fight back as as maybe ran a little wide in 5 as Kemp came to the inside, gave him plenty of racing room, but didn't give it up. He did not let go of that, as we're going to get the replay here. As you see Schnackle maybe in the gravel a little bit there on the outside, might have held him up just a bit, but not in giving up. He's going to make the run and his late break into 6 and get the corner, and he's going to catch the curb there, and that's when the fun starts, as he's a little bit about 20 degrees sideways coming through the corner. And but nice job by Schnackle hanging on to it, and good job by everybody else around him, just giving everybody room to race and recover their race cars. We're going to get another battle here, and this is it for 3 through 5, as we got a group of cars here, including Belant, Belling, Zwayer, David Moore moving to the inside there. That is a tough pass. As you can see, Zwayer into the grass, almost all 4 wheels, at least half the car, as Moore moves through. Jay Bass comes through as well. So you can see that the business is picked up here, as they say, with 14 minutes into the race, 6 minutes left to go. And now you see, Belant making a move. Contact, and there is Kemp around. And that's Kemp and Belant in against each other. And Belant's going to keep going. Kemp is going to get his car right and get back out. Both those cars are going to drop well down the order, as Belant falls back down to P8. Kemp falls all the way down to P13, and we're going to get a replay of that just to check that out. But that gives Schnackle a huge gap up front, 1.7 seconds over Bailey.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at this here. Not a good one, was it, Charles? It looks like perhaps a little bit of loosey-goosey there, and then Taylor Belant just kind of getting caught up underneath him. So honestly, it's hard to say. You know, it's a bit of a racing incident in that one. He could have backed out, obviously, but it's happening so quickly, and you know, a little bit of iRacing glue, yada yada. Unfortunately, that's going to take our leaders out, our kind of battle for the front out here. And you know, maybe most poignantly, that is at least 2 times this season I've seen Neil Kemp in podium position and not finish the race because of a competitor getting into him. So that's going to be a real bummer for Neil out there for sure, who's now back in 14th place.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. As we saw Belant, he saw Kemp just kind of lose the car a little bit and recovered it pretty quickly, but left the door open on the inside, and Belant just decided he was going to walk through. We're going to get an onboard here, and we're going to get a good look, as you see, just kind of worked out, and Belant just sticks his nose in, and it just, you know, I don't know, it's a racing deal, but, you know, I can't really assign blame there. So it's just, you know, his opportunity he tried to take, and it just didn't work out. It looks like that Kemp caught the rear just as Belant was moving through and straightened up, and then there was the left front of Belant's car. So, you know, tough break, obviously tight track and very difficult racing conditions in one of the tighter sections of track, and it's just contact made, and it was enough to send both cars off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think we got it right there too. It's not really just an opportunity kind of presented itself, and sometimes those things just kind of happen to you. You know, it makes it look like you went for the pass, but in actuality, the person's just kind of slowing down a bit in front of you because they're sideways, and unless you really react to it, you know, you're not going to end up, or you might end up underneath them, and that's kind of what happened there, I think. So, pretty unfortunate for both of those guys, but Jeff Schnackle now able to kind of just a bit of a track day here, as long as he can keep it together. Not that Andrew Bailey isn't going to keep him honest here. One little mistake, and it won't be so easy for him anymore. It's not like there's a massive gap there or anything at all, but you know, again, this has sort of opened up some opportunity for some drivers that don't usually podium, or perhaps not even usually in the top 5, to easily break up into the top 5 here and get a bit of a battle with some of the top drivers here as well. Matt Thompson just a little bit out of this fray, with David Finch behind him, and then of course he's back to 16th place for Andy Bell, who's just, to be honest, Andy Bell has been surrounded by cars every time I've looked at him in both races here, so he's doing a good job keeping his nose clean out there and staying up in first place pretty solidly in AM. So great run for him in both heats tonight here. We have to go all the way back to 21st to find Brandon Carl, our second place driver in AM at the moment. But yeah, it looks like actually going to have a little look on Neil Kemp here, who's probably just a little bit annoyed at the moment that he's back here having to deal with this. But you know, that's racing. You got to just kind of look forward and see what you can do with the rest of this race.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, it's going to be white flag. This is going to be white flag next time by, So he's not going to have a lot more opportunities to make up positions, but he does have a car in front of Charlie Hosey there in 13th, so he can get that spot. It's going to be difficult to get any further than that, obviously, with a 2.5 second gap. So it's going to be basically Schnackle, and then it's going to be keeping that car on the track, keeping the lines clean, not really pushing your luck. You might want to tighten it up just a little bit just to make sure that you don't overdo a corner. But he's got a nice 1.3 second gap back to Bailing. Matt Thompson pretty secure in his Challenger P1 position, running in sixth overall with about a 4 second gap over Jeff Andrus. And then there is the white flag, final lap. Here we go, one more time around. Jeff Schnackle leading.
Yep, Jeff Schnackle going to lead us around here for one more lap. A little bit of fighting here, perhaps between our third and fourth place drivers here. Maybe might have a chance here. Jay Bast may have a chance to attack Andrew Bailing into our last corner here. But honestly, kind of threw the rule book out the window during this one, and most of our passes actually got done in places where usually you're not going to see a whole lot of passes done. And that might just be because everybody knows where that one passing spot is, right, Charles? So they block it so well that you just can't get it done. You've got to find another place on track to do it somewhere. Being able to figure out exactly where that is sometimes, you just got to make it happen. You just make it happen where it happens every once in a while. But if it feels like this is the run, well, I'm going to take it and see if I can't make it happen here. Looks like still a bit of a battle here. Chuck Albano, I think that's Jeff Anders in front of him, so a little bit of shoulders and elbows there in our last race. Looks like they're playing pretty nicely with each other, at least for the time being here. I think Jeff Schnackle is about to come around here and finish us off here for Heat 2, though, coming through our final corner here, and he's seeing that checkered flag now. Not much anybody else can do about it, and he's going to be our overall winner and winner in Pro today. Jeff Schnackle just behind him, Andrew Bailing and Jay Bast in third across the line.
Yeah, across the line, and there we see Thompson and Andrus, our two challengers, finishing nose to tail after being separated by 3 cars about a lap ago. So congrats to Matt Thompson for getting the Challenger class victory. And then Andy Bell in 16th lost a couple of spots there, but still finishing in 16th to get the AM class victory. And Brandon Carl with a nice run there. Obviously, Brandon, it was what we're watching him during the course of, or as you were reading off the championship points, and he was dead last. So it was a nice P2 for him in the amateur class today. That's going to bring him up closer to the rest of the amateur class field. So, all points are good points. So we'll give a shout out to Brandon there. Hard charge of the day looks like it's going to be David Fernandez finishing in 20th, up 9 positions. Obviously had issues in the first race, but clawed his way back and able to pick up 9 spots as Jeff Schnackle taking the victory lap here, just ahead of Andrew Bailing there. So great job by Schnackle. Obviously, like I said, had a rough outing last week. Comes back this week, gets the win. So congratulations to Jeff.
Yeah, great job for everybody here for sure. Not an easy track to drive around. Two heats tonight with very little attrition. A little bit of elbows out there. We saw a little bit of drama, a little bit of fireworks, but nothing too crazy. Schnackle gonna burn it down here for us right at the end, and a well-deserved one for sure for Schnackle. We've seen a few pitfalls in the last couple races there as well, for Jeff Schnackle, and he's really had the pace. He's really come on pace in the last season or so here. So a much deserved win for the number 23 around a fairly difficult course here with a bunch of very good drivers.
Yeah, it just goes to show you the level of competition here as we're. Oh, there we go. Getting a little bit of air. Mustangs flying through the air. Nice little pirouette there.
You gotta love it.
The barrel roll. Yeah, tires. There's a random tire just flying across the track. So one of the side benefits of driving here at Summit Point is you get to do things like this at the end of the race. So nice. Like I said, nice bit of driving here. It just goes to show the level of competition here that you put 30 cars on a very tight track like this, and you only had like 2 cars in the feature there that actually you had 1 car that didn't take the start, didn't finish. Everybody else finished the race. So it just goes, like I said, goes to show the level of talent that we've got in our field tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, Charles. These guys, they know how to drive out there for sure, and getting all those cars across the line and mainly clean, at least till the end here anyway, was great for sure. And maybe we'll get to some results here quickly, and then we can start pulling up some oh, you know what? I don't think results are actually live yet. So as soon as we can get results, we will get results. But until then, maybe we'll look up on our booth here and see if there's any interviews for you to grab there, Charles.
Yeah, we've got our race winner, our feature winner, Jeff Schnackle up there. So let's track him down, and we'll have a conversation with him while we're waiting on the official results. So we'll grab him. So Jeff, congratulations! Good run in the heat race, but then come up and get the big trophy here in the feature. Congratulations!
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. Struggling a little bit with consistency there. I've just never gotten along in this car at some point too well, but luck was on our side there. Not quite sure what happened that second race with Taylor, but I was fully expecting him to come back through. So a little bit of luck, but yeah, overall great result and good points.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the quick version for Taylor. Is he basically left half his rubber at the starting line as he lit the rears up on the green. So that's what caused him to drive back to the back, and then it was the beginning of the end, unfortunately for him. But that's part of it. You got to get the car off the line, and you did so. Once again, had really good pace, had a good battle up there with Kemp. For the first half of it, kind of rode behind, trying to find some purchase, and Kemp just did a really good job of some defensive driving to keep you behind him.
Yeah, no, Neil's always been a blast to drive around with. He's a great defensive driver. I gotta honestly go back to that replay. I'm kind of surprised I was able to hanging around the outside through turn one. I forget what lap that was, but the second time I tried it, I was able to make it stick. So I gotta kind of look back at that and see what happened. Kind of a little bit surprised by that happened, but yeah, no, Neil's awesome to drive with, and everyone up front is always a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, good bounce back. You were up at the front last week at Road America, ran into some issues mid race, but tonight came back very strong. Got the feature win, and unfortunately, just a little inside baseball here. No Grid Rivals points for this race for you, Schnack. So,
Yeah,
so you don't get those. You don't get those, but you do get the race win. So, congratulations, and we'll let you give any thanks before we let you go and celebrate.
Yeah, just shout out to the league organizers again, Ed, Mike, Aaron, for keeping this thing alive. Shout out to the sponsors, Shiba Hut, TW3, D-Nut Stuff. Without them, none of this would be possible, and we wouldn't have you guys throwing an awesome broadcast on here every week, so appreciate you guys as well.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
That was our race winner, Jeff Schnackle, getting the feature win. And we've got, who else we have up there? We've got Taylor Blunt is in the mute. We've got Matt Thompson. You want Matt Thompson?
Yeah, let's bring Matt in here. Let's bring Matt Thompson in, our Challenger winner from tonight, I believe, out there, and had a pretty good one. I'll grab him here. And there we go. Matt, pretty awesome race out there. 2 heats in a row. Not easy to make passes around here on this kind of tight, hustly race car track. How'd you see it out there today?
Oh, I was busy out there trying to keep the car under control. It's just trying to hang on to the guys in front of me and do what I could. But yeah, stayed behind Jeff for a good bit of the first race, and then finally got to move on him into turn 1. It's the easiest place to do it, cleanest place to do it. So that worked out pretty well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about, actually, we saw some pretty unorthodox passes today, not in T1, probably because people kind of know that T1 pass is coming after that straightaway. Not that you can really stop it from happening a lot of the time, but we did see some passing on some kind of interesting parts of the track here today for sure. Not an easy one, and very, very clean out there as usual. You guys always showing us exactly how it's done. I believe our next track we're going to is Willow Springs for 40 minutes with a pit stop. Is that one you're looking forward to, Matt, or is that one you're gonna have to practice from now until then to get your lap down?
I'm actually looking real forward to that one. One of my, I think if you see my icon, it's me and my green car on Willow Springs. So I've actually been there a couple times.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I've drove the streets more than the Big Willow, but Big Willow's
Looks like
fun,
you might be on
especially
the
virtually.
chicane at Suzuka, or sorry, at Laguna, in the
but-
one I'm seeing right now. Perhaps is that right?
Maybe it's my Discord icon. at the-
Gotcha. Oh,
SMB.
gotcha. Yep. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Discord
cool
icon
looking
is-
Mustang.
Thank you.
right
But
on.
yeah, it's I lived about 15 minutes from there for about 6 years, so I spent quite a bit of time out there at the track. So enjoy that track a lot. Looking forward to it. It's fun to race from these cars.
Excellent. Right on, man. Well, great race today. Great win. You've definitely been able to pick up some pace here over the last few seasons, and it looks like you're getting those wins in Challenger fairly, maybe not easily, but you're getting them now for sure. Is there anybody you'd like to thank out there before we let you go?
Big shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Big shout out to Ed and Mike for putting on the league. Ed for Frito Sport and all the Frito Sport guys for keeping me honest and pushing me hard. And Mark, since he was out tonight, sick again this week. Shout out to him. Hope he's feeling better. Looking forward to having him back on track and pushing me hard. So
Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Right on, man. Yeah, always, man. Our pleasure. Have a good one. We'll talk to you again soon.
okay, bye.
Right on. And that was Matt Thompson, our Challenger winner today. I believe we do still have, if I can look over at my Discord here, the many things on my screen, we still have, who do we have here? We still have Andy Bell. We still have Taylor Ballon.
Yep.
I think we should probably talk to Andy Bell, our AM
for
winner
sure.
there. Would you like to take him, Charles?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's grab Andy and bring him in here. Andy, congratulations on the feature win in the AM class. So you were basically mid-pack battling all night long. So I bet you're probably tired after that one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think I got the heat win too. Is that?
Yeah, I
is
think
that-
so. I think that's
all
it.
right. And I owe it to Joe. I hope he's all right. I was expecting him tonight, but didn't see him in the race. So although Brandon wasn't too far behind there. So yeah, great race.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about this. Obviously a big change from what we dealt with last week at Road America. Very, very tight track, lots of cars, lots of traffic. And I'm sure that made things a little bit chaotic for you there during the course of the race.
Yeah, combination of the short track and the a short race means we stayed pretty close. So similar in the sense of in the draft all the time. But yeah, busy, and mostly focused on keeping it clean, especially racing up with the other classes. Getting points separation from the AM classes behind me is great, but I ducked out of several of their races on purpose, and glad to do so to stay clean. And yeah, hot. Also, one of the hottest tracks we've had in a few weeks, even despite some of the other hot climate tracks. So slippery, just different feel all around, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to next week. We go to I wouldn't call it something Road America like, but obviously this is a completely different challenge again at Willow Springs. Old school racetrack, lots of runoff area, but a pretty demanding track as far as just getting the line right and keeping yourself off those curbs, which are just extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I think the schedule this season has been phenomenal for the variety. I'm really enjoying it, including tonight. Willow Springs is going to be one that I need to refresh myself on. I don't know when or if I've driven that track, so that'll be exciting.
I think once you get there, you'll remember. You'll know if you remember it or
That's
not. Right?
what I have in my head, but I can't picture it yet. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a great race. I love Willow Springs. It doesn't get a lot of usage because it is a very old school. It's not a newfangled track, but man, is it fun to drive. So best of luck to you next week. Congratulations again on tonight's double win, and we'll let you give a chance to give any thanks before we let you go and celebrate.
Yeah, just glad everyone's coming. Appreciating the race with Joe. Boy, you gave me some points up in the results here. So hope everything's all right with you, and I'll see you next week. Also, friends and family watching, thanks for indulging me, and thanks for you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Obviously, all the folks showing up to make this possible. Really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Andy. Have a great night as well. That is Andy Bell, our AM class winner. 16th overall, and Josh, back to you. We'll see if there's anybody else you want to talk to, or if we're going to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I think that's probably all about time we have for this evening, but pretty awesome race for sure from everybody out there today. Jeff Knackle going to be our winner. Next week, of course, we are off to Willow Springs. Should be a pretty amazing one around there. We know that's a pretty high speed course as well in some spots, some pretty I wouldn't say it's the same as this track, but it's got some kind of drafting down that front straight that's going to happen, and some more technical bits kind of off in the back end of it there. So it should be a pretty interesting one, I think. But we're going to thank our sponsors here for sure, for the Chiba Hut, Mike and Nickham at D-Nut Stuff. Make sure you check out in the chat there the AI, the custom AI that he's put together for everybody here is a pretty awesome deal. You can go in there and practice with some AI that isn't just gonna kind of hack the bone, or else not try to pass you at all. And we're gonna have to try that out pretty soon and be able to help you get some speed. But I think that's gonna be it for us here at Slow Motion Broadcasting here for today. So we will catch you on the next one, and thanks for tuning in.